basically the question is, what is your understanding of racism, and where do you kind of see both its causes as well as its effects?
Yeah, I think at least in the United States, we have kind of two main ideas about racism.
Mm.
One at its core, it's a belief, right? It's a belief that one or more races are superior to other races, or some races are inferior than others. And I think as a belief, it can be articulated by individual prejudice. So, like,
Yeah.
we don't like people of a certain ethnic identity or nationality or race. We like other people, and it might
Mm.
come across as preferential treatment. But I think the more important definition of racism is one that's more pernicious, one that's more
Yeah.
complex, and that it is actually a system, a social structure in which, one or more races benefit at the cost of other races.
Yeah.
One race might have additional privileges or, get access to resources or influence over others. That's a much tougher one
Yeah.
because, these days we're told racism is more like the former, like, oh, look at these people being treated poorly, and less of like we live in a society that actually reinforces those ideas. And so a lot of my work is teaching people to think more upstream, think more like what are the root causes of these kinds of things.
Mm.
One of my favorite quotes is from Desmond Tutu, who says, at some point we got to just stop pulling people out of the river and go upstream to think, why are they falling in to begin with?
Yeah.
And I think when we think about why we see such inequality in our world, it's not because of the belief. I mean, people believe all sorts of things. People believe in a
Yeah.
flat earth. It doesn't make that so. It is
Yeah.
actual social structures that reinforce those beliefs. And so I think, the greatest victory for people who believe in these unjust ideas is convincing people that racism is about belief. When
Yeah.
we look at the massive social movements, particularly in the 1950s and the 1960s, a lot of those activists like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, they didn't focus on belief, they focused on structures. That's why they
Mm.
wanted to see major legislative reforms like the Civil Rights Act. And then shortly after that, it became positioned as a belief. Oh, we're being treated poorly because people don't like us, as opposed to like because that's how our entire legal system is structured. And,
Yeah.
so that's the challenge these days, is helping people understand that really difference. They come from a very similar place, but how they work in a civil society are very, very different.
Yeah.